What's up, everyone? Coach Tony here with College Admission Seekers. Welcome back to our weekly free training where we teach you guys some awesome stuff about the admissions process. If it's our very first time meeting, my name is Coach Tony. I actually was a former UC Berkeley admissions reader. I did that for a few years, read over 20,000 applications. Then after that, I got to be a director at UCLA, learn how they worked, and then I've been helping families for 16 years now. You learn that all admissions pretty much is the same, right? Same exact kind of frameworks. And the big key is understanding what is important and what is not important. Again, you talk to a lot of families now, they're doing a lot of things. They're doing a lot of things, this thing here, this thing there, this and that. The world is changing. The SAT is going tons of different directions now as well. So everyone's just doing everything, right? But the question I always tell families is, are you doing the right everything? And that's going to be the big key to make sure that you do well in the admissions process. So right now in the chat, if you're joining us live, I see here we got a lot of high school students, we got some middle school students as well too. We're going to have a fun interactive training for today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you guys can again help me one more time, let me know if you see that on your side. Let me know if you are good. All is good in the hood. So we can get started on boom, the call, right? And the fun thing about these calls for me is I like the interactivity, right? I like the comments. I like the chat. So again, I'm going to ask you guys a few questions to help me out, kind of customize this training for those who are here live as well. So those who are here live, I'm going to use your assistance to help me kind of create this fun interactive training. I really enjoy this interactive training. It's more like a presentation. Those are not as fun for me. So if you're here live, welcome to the party. Welcome to the show as well. So really quick, just so I can make sure, again, this call is directly related to you all here. Can you let me know in the chat, what possible colleges are you guys aiming for? What colleges are we thinking about? Again, just take 30 seconds really quick. Drop those in the chat, right? What colleges are we thinking about? Are you guys thinking about colleges like UCLA, UC Berkeley, the other UCs, right? Davis, Irvine, San Diego. You might be other schools as well too, right? Some from Cal States, Cal Poly. Even though Cal Poly doesn't have Cal State, it's still a Cal State school, right? Cal States, Long Beach, SLO, Pomona, a bunch of these schools here. Some of you guys might be applying to other schools as well too, right? Stanford, USC, if you're thinking about California, if you're expanding out a little more. Some of us are the Ivy, some of us like the top private schools, top state schools, there. So again, if you're A above and reading the chat really quick, I see a lot of UCs, a lot of UCs represented here today. I see LA. LA gets the win. LA always wins every single contest here. LA, UCI, Santa Barbara, UCSC, Davis, Irvine, multiple Irvine, lots of Irvines. Santa Barbara, got Stanford in here, got some Ivies in here. Someone threw in Caltech. Love it. Everything we're going to talk about today is going to be directly applicable to you guys. And we take it one step further in the chat. Just like you dropped the colleges, can you guys drop either a major or career? What majors or, I'm doing a chat so you guys can kind of see what I'm asking as well too, right? So I asked first, what colleges are we thinking about? And now I'm asking, what majors are we thinking about, right? So what majors do you guys think your child wants to do, or if you're a student, but if you're a parent, what major do we think we're gonna do once we get to the school, right? What majors are we thinking about? Tons and tons of majors out there. There's hundreds and hundreds of majors, right? I'm trying to see, again, this call will be a fun interactive call. If I can know where you guys want to go, I can kind of help you guys get there the fastest way. So I see here architecture, business, physician, the parent, not major, health and human sciences, business, psychology, business, multiple engineerings, multiple businesses, poli-sci, math, physics, law. Those who are joining a little late, they're adding the colleges in here as well. Right, definitely do that. Nursing, that's a very popular one. Biochemistry, people dropping in, keep coming now, dropping colleges. Thank you, thank you. Biochem engineering, beautiful, beautiful, right? Thank you everyone for participating. I have a pretty good idea of kind of where we want to go. So today's presentation, today's little interactivity, we're gonna kind of talk about, right? We're gonna talk about how do we get there? We're talk about how we get from here to there at the very beginning. And since we have more people here now, we have 164 people here tuning live. Can I get to know what grades? We have a lot more people now here. So what grades? Now I know where we're at, where we want to go, where we at right now. Drop your grades in the chat really quick and drop a number, right? 12th graders, 11th graders, or 12, 11, 10, 9. If you're starting a little early, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6. Holy moly, we talked to a kindergarten family this past week. Again, we told them they were way too early. So if you're a kindergarten family, you're way too early as well. All right, let's see. We got a good mix again today. Got a good mix. A lot of high school students. We got a few middle school families as well too. We got a transfer student, awesome, awesome, or community college student, gonna be a transfer student. Beautiful, beautiful, and some middle school families as well too. Great, great. So again, in this presentation, we're gonna do a few things, right? We're gonna talk about specifically for this call UC admissions. I know you guys are applying to a lot of other schools as well too than just UCs. I saw the Stanfords, I saw the USC, the UPenns, the Ivies, the other out-of-state schools. The stuff that we're talking about today actually, on a very good note, it actually applies to all the schools too. So it's not like it's just UC admissions, even though like if you're applying to UCs, you're in the right spot. But if you're applying to other schools, keep in mind that colleges work really nicely together, meaning preparing for UC admissions also means preparing for these other schools. And the beauty of it is that because the UCs require a few more additional requirements, by meeting the UC admission requirements, you can meet a lot of the other school requirements as well too. So that's the beauty. We'll talk about that requirements number one first. We'll talk a little bit about GPA today. I'm talking about, let me write down forget requirements a little bit. We'll talk about GPA. That's the 3 letters that everyone talks so much about that I'm like, not gonna be that big of a deal, right? So at the end of the day, hopefully I'm gonna convince you guys to do the same thing. And then a big one for today, major preparation, right? So depending on your major, right, what should we make sure that we do? And if you guys, if I can speak fast enough, I was thinking like, how do we make our students' lives easier, right? At the end, those are the 4 things. Does that sound like a good plan? Everybody drop a yes in the chat if that is good to go. Let me know if these 4 are good to go for today's topics. Drop a quick yes in the chat. And again, for those who are new, right, joining, I like the interaction, right? You know, like you guys, we all lived through 2020. We had to talk to a camera all day, right? You know, I guess a little lonely. So it's nice to see the chats kind of flowing in. So I know there's actually people listening as well too. Beautiful, beautiful. I like it. Let's go ahead and make that the game plan for today. And let's get started. Again, at the end, extra activities. That's a great topic. We're actually doing that next week, by the way, for those who are new, right? We are doing activities next Tuesday as well, too. So if you guys are interested, let me know at the end. We'll give you the link for next week. If you guys can join back for the activities this week. We're gonna keep it on the academics. We're gonna keep it on just because if not, I can go on literally for hours, literally for hours, right? But let's kind of keep it down for activities. So let's talk about requirements first. So when it comes to UC academic requirements, fun fact: does anyone know? Just in the chat, just ramble with me for a little bit. What is the requirement to apply to a UC? Does anyone know? Like, what do you need? What do we need? What do we need? Need is the key word, by the way, to apply to a UC campus. There's 9 UC schools that you guys can apply to. The 10th one is UC San Francisco, which is not an undergraduate, it's only a graduate school, so you guys can't apply there yet. But there's a few things. So $80, which is true, is $8 per college if you guys are applying to. In theory, you can choose not to pay for it, right? But then as that, boom, there's a number. Here's one answer. A through G requirements. We're going to talk about that. That's the requirements. And there's one more. There's one more thing. There's actually 2, by the way. Fun fact, there's only 2 requirements you need to apply to a UC school. So one is the A through G requirements. The other one is the minimum UC GPA, right? Those are the 2 requirements that you need, okay? Let's talk about it, right? So the first one, the A through G requirements, right? These are the 15 years of classes required, right, to apply to the UCs, right? So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's called A through G because there's literally A through G requirements, right? So let me go ahead and make sure I'm zooming in because someone said that the screen's a little too small. Is that seeable? Is that good? Is that viewable good as well? I think so. Yes. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So first one, A, right? So the first requirement you do is history. A is history. History, you need 2 years required, right? 2 years required here. For a lot of families, they fulfill this requirement by doing world history, usually in 10th grade, and in US history, usually in 11th grade, right? I'll go ahead and I'll add that for you guys as well too. Let's do world history and US history. Just a little note, right? I didn't mention AP World or AP History or like A Push or honors, right? That's the rigor of it, right? So again, in theory, just to meet the requirement, it could be any level of these courses. You just at the minimum, just hitting these requirements here, right? B is English. English is 4 years required, right? 4 years, basically, as long as you're in school, staying in English classes, right? C is going to be math. This is where it gets interesting a little bit, right? Math is 3 years required, 4 years recommended, right? What does that mean, right? What does that mean? That means, in theory, you just need 3 years. But one of the tips I have for you all, treat recommended as required. Did you know we had a lot of people apply to the UCs and that number always keeps going up year after year after year? It doesn't ever drop. It might will eventually, but for now it's not dropping. Schools are getting more, UC specifically, getting more and more competitive. More and more people are applying. So again, and we have so many spots. That's why it gets more competitive, right? So because of that, right? If you're doing just the bare minimum, there are a lot of kids, a lot of students, a lot of our coaching students who are doing way more than they need as well, too. Meaning, I would highly recommend you guys treat the recommended as required for the rest of these requirements, right? But look, caveat: 3 years doesn't mean you have to do 9th, 10th, 11th grade or 10th, 11th, 12th grade math. In theory, we actually have some students who finish by freshman year. So how is that possible? The 3 years starts at Algebra 1. That's the key here, right? So 3 years starts at Algebra 1. So if you do Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, that is your 3 years. And if anyone does anything additional after that, trigonometry, pre-calculus, calculus, that counts as additional years of math courses. But in theory, once you finish Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, you're done, right? With the requirement. Not saying you're done, but with the requirement, you're done, right? So keeping that in mind here. There's a few caveats, by the way. There's a few changes. There's a few changes in the UC system. Our team went to a few conferences these past few weeks. The new UC conference, the new National Association conference. So a few little updates. So one of the fun little updates is people think like stats is good enough as the next level course. It's not anymore, right? Stats is cool, but it's not going to be it's not as rigorous as the other courses. So those of you who are not in like the math related majors, so like I saw like law earlier, saw history earlier, right? Something studies, right? People usually do algebra 2 and do stats and get away with the math because again, they probably don't like the math. In today's world, that's not going to cut it as much anymore. So what we usually recommend now for still get to like pre-calculus. That's kind of the level you want to kind of aim at. You can still do stats, but also aim for that pre-calculus. Is going to help you out as well too. For those of you who are business, STEM, CS, or engineering, all the way, all the way is the other one there. We'll talk about that more in majors, okay? D is going to be science. Science here, 2 years required, 3 years recommended, right? So every school has their own list of them. You pick your 3, right? Again, 3 recommended. I recommend the 3. Definitely go for that as well too. E is going to be LOTE, language other than English, LOTE, right? So this is like 2 years required, right? 3 years recommended. Here's a little caveat. I mean, because there's a note here, right? So in the chat, let's have some fun. Let's do a fun little poll in the chat. If a student takes Spanish 1 and French 1, does that fulfill this requirement? In the chat, give me a yes or no in the chat. If LOTE, right, for LOTE, take 1 year Spanish, 1 year of French. All right, interactivity, I love it. No, It does not. The 2 years means it has to be a second year class. However, let's do another poll number 2 question, right? What if a student ninth grade takes Spanish 3? Does that fulfill this requirement? Ninth grader, Spanish 3 right away, just because they got in middle school, they took Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, and their school approved them to jump straight to Spanish 3, right? Would that count for them? A little water break. All right. Yes, the answer is yes. Correct. So this is the years, right? So when it says 2 years required, 3 years recommended, that means that's that standing of the class itself. So it needs to be that specific years material of the language. So second year language, third year language, that's what you kind of want to aim for, right? Next one is going to be visual performing arts, VPA, right? 1 year required. And last one is CP elective, right? College prep elective. So like classes like your economics, your psychologies, right? That usually falls under here. Or there's an or condition, right? 1 year required here, right? There's an or as well too, right? So really quick in the chat, let me know as well too. Has their child already done 4 years of math, right? So you finished algebra 2, they're doing either trig or pre-calc or calculus or other maths after that, right? Or does your child have 3 years of science, right? They took bio, chem, physics. They took computer science, human, whatever sciences are, right? Three sciences there. Or they've done the 3rd year of language, right? So basically they did the recommended years. Awesome, right? That the recommended year counts as your elective as well. So if your child did go the extra mile and do the extra recommending, which again, we recommend treating as required, right? I'll actually make it its own standalone topic, right? Just to emphasis, right? Treat that as required, right? That's going to be the key, right? That's going to be, and if you do the math, right, add these all up, right, you'll see there's 15 years, 2 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1, 15 years, right? In here, 15 years of required courses. There is a caveat. Again, a lot of families in this group, usually you guys are good to go, but something to keep in mind for those, just to share with your friends, right? Little fun UC tidbits. All right, 11 years needs to be done by 11th grade, right? So by the end of 11th grade of 11th grade, you have to have 11 years done. Some students, I have heard stories of students not being eligible because they haven't hit 11 years by end of 11th grade. So that's a really good, easy number, 11. Make a wish, right? So that's that, right? So that is going to be the A through G requirements. Like I mentioned earlier, right? These could be different levels. I'm going to give you guys a little really cool resource, right? If you guys go to Google, right? You guys go to Google, type up UCOP articulation. That's the key word right here. Look up Google, look up UCOP articulation. In the chat, can someone in California give me their high school's name, right? Someone in California, because this is also California, it's a California site only. So someone in high school in California, give me like a California high school so I can use it really quick. By the way, I'm seeing questions right now in the chat. If you guys can drop it in the Q&A box, I'm going to set some time at the end to review that really quick for you guys, okay? So, because you can say chat goes crazy. Chat just keeps going, right? So if you guys can drop your Q&A questions in the in the Q&A box, we'll talk about that. But first school I saw, sorry, there's a lot of people are fast. First one I saw, Villa Park, right? If you look up, you have to do it on your own too. Don't do it right now. Listen to me. But after this call, do it yourself. You Google UCOP articulation. It's going to have this blue site, right? So I saw Villa Park High School, right? I'm going to search for it. You search for it. And this is a California only thing. If you're not in California, it won't pop up. Your school won't pop up as well too. But here's a Villa Park. I'm assuming this person, you're in the Orange School District. Actually, next to where I'm at, right? Click course list. This page tells you every approved A through G requirement course, right? At your school. That's the key, because not every class is offered. Not every available class is offered at your school. But if you look at here, you'll see that here, right, under area A, again, most students do world history in US, but there's other ways to fulfill. If you take AP Euro, that's your 1 year there, right? Going down to B, your English, boom, hitting here. Your C is your math right here. D is science. E is a language, right? F is visual performing arts. And G is your college prep. You can see some college preps, right? Advent school counts as college prep, business law. These extra classes count as prep. One of the things you may have seen on this page is the yellow star, right? What is this yellow star, right? So on this page right here, on this page, right, the yellow star means it's an approved UC honors course, right? It's approved UC honors course. What's the UC honors mean? It means now we talk about the UC GPA, right? So when it comes to the UC GPA, it's a special GPA calculation by the UCs themselves. I don't know of any other schools as of today, right, that uses the UC GPA. That's a very UC thing, right? A UC GPA themselves also. Typically, right? Typically, it starts summer after 9th to summer after 11th, right? So 9th grade classes, again, keep in mind, notes, I'm going to put a big note. Notes, right? Readers will see 9th grade grades. I had a really sad story. One of the families that we talked to, their counselor, they told me their counselor told them 9th grade, because 9th grade is not included in the GPA, doesn't matter. And I'm like, no, that's not what it means as well, too. The readers will see your classes. They will see your grades. It just means not calculated in the factoring, but they still see it. So that's the big key, right? So again, still do well 9th grade. But in terms of the calculation itself, summer after 9th, summer of 9th, 10th grade, summer after 10th, 11th grade, summer after 11th. All those terms, right, they'll be calculated together, right? And kind of as a GPA, add up the points again. So grades, right? So A equals 4, right? A equals 4, B equals 3, right? Equals 3, etc., etc. C equals, okay, I might as well. I'm almost done, right? C equals 1, F equals 0, right? So all your grades out, again, UCs don't do pluses or minuses. So B plus is a B, A minus is an A, right? So that's that, right? So you calculate all of your terms, right? Terms, right? Grades per term, right? Meaning if you are in a semester school, like anyone here in semester, say yes. It means you have 2 official grades, right? One for fall, one for spring. All right, okay, the yeses are coming through. Love it, right? Some of you guys might be on trimester. I know a lot of the San Diego schools, right? You guys are on trimester as well, too. So you guys are in 3 terms, right, per year. And some of you guys are even on a quarter system, which means you finish a whole class in half a year, and you take like 2 classes, or you take like a full class in half the year, right? So then it's got the whole schedule gets split in half and goes 2 and 2 that way, right? So it's per term is what you want to do. So grades per term. So for example, semester, trimester, quarter, etc. Right? Etc. as well too. Right. So you gotta do that per. So if you took a class, so let's say example for you guys can see, right? Let's say you took world history and you got a B first semester and then an A second semester, it will be 3 plus 4 equals 7. Right. That's kind of how the math looks like for that. First semester got 3, second semester got 7. Okay. So that's that. You do add it all up, right? Here's where the stars kind of in play, right? When it comes to UC honors, right, you can add up to 4 points in 10th grade, can add up to 8 points in 10th plus 11th grade, maxing out at plus 8 points. That's it. That's the answer, right? What does this mean? Because there's a lot of messiness here, right? This means if you take each honors course gets you +1. So let's assume we take world history, right? So world history right here, world history, AP world history, right? It's a UC honors course, right? So each semester we're gonna get +1 +1. So you get an extra +1. I should have said that first, right? So every honors +1. So you add 1. So let's say, going back to my example, right? AP world history, right? If I got a B and an A, it'll be 3 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1, right? Equals 4 plus 9. Look at AI. Very nice, right? So 9 points is what it is, right? So it's up to 4 points. So if you're in a semester school, that's 2 classes, right? So as if you took an honors approved class, 2 classes would count. What happens if you take more than that? Like you take 3 AP classes your 10th grade year. Then 2 classes, it doesn't matter which one. And if you don't believe me, do the math yourself, right? It doesn't matter which ones, right? 2 classes will get the honors points. The third one will not. There's no extra plus honors for the honors, right? As well, too. So you can max out, take 6 APs. 2 of them will count, the other ones won't, right? Then let's say, so that's that. So 4 there. The max is 8 total. So, and if you already had your 4 in 10th, I'm going to give you examples so you guys can understand what that means as well, too, right? If you had in 10th grade, you had 4, that means in 11th grade, you can also have 4 and you're done. That's it, right? Let's say in 10th grade, you had 0. You took 0 honors courses in 10th grade. Then in 11th grade, what this means is you can have up to 8 points. So total, you have 8. Same thing, total, you have 8 here as well, too. Let's say in 10th grade, you took 1, right? 11th grade, not 11th, 111th, right? You took a lot, but only 3 classes or 6 terms got the points, right? That, 2, how you can't have 1, 2, right? Then that's still 8. That's maxing out. The max you can get is 8, right? That's why physically it is impossible to get like a really, really, really high UC GPA mathematically because, again, you're limited, right? Caution. Let me do note number 2. Note number 2. The reason why I mentioned earlier that GPA is not that important is, again, if you try to optimize for the highest GPA, right, you're going to make very, 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 very bad decisions as well, too. Because what does that mean? That means let's drop my rigor. Let's not take as many honors courses as well, too. However, those who've been here for a while, as a reader, what I look for, what's the one thing I look for when it comes to academics? When it comes to academics, rigor is the most important factor, right? It means the rigor of your schedule. How did you challenge yourself all throughout high school itself, right? That is the one important thing that I look at in the whole process. I'm trying to say, what's your schedule there? Let me give you a quick little explanation as well, too. UCLA and UC Berkeley. I saw those schools a lot earlier when I asked what schools you guys want to go to. Let's throw in all the other ones, right? All the et al, right? All the other ones, right? In that mix. These schools are hard as well, too, right? So when your child wants to go to UCLA, you're telling them this is a peanut. This is an appetizer. Like if you're stressing now, you can be really stressed when you get over there to that 4-year school, right? Kids who go there and love it, that's what they love. They thrive on that competitive, that like academic stress. They like that stuff as well, too, right? These schools are hard. Basically, as a reader, I'm thinking if I say yes to you, are you going to drop out or get kicked out? That's the key, right? I don't want anyone to get kicked out because you can't handle the workload of these competitive schools. That is why the rigor is the most important part as well. I would say, for those who know, quick tips, right? Academics, the 2 things we look at is rigor and then grade trends, right? Those are the 2 things that we look at. Notice I didn't say GPA. I don't look at GPA. I don't care about GPA, right? Rigor and grade trends. Again, both these together make up GPA, right? But the GPA number itself, I don't really care too much about, is these 2 factors. And before you start asking, I know there's probably someone going to ask it, Coach Tony, right? Should my child take an AP class or take a regular class and get an A, or take an AP class and get a B or C? Coach Tony, what should my child do? All right. And I tell them the answer is you take that AP class and get an A. Stop giving your child an excuse to lose is the biggest one, right? If you say or, then you're stuck in the or, right? Winners are not thinking about or. Winners like, how do I make that happen, right? How do I figure out how to get my A in these classes. That's the key, right? So it's and. The key word is and. Fun little tip I've seen just doing this process very time. Stop giving your kids or options. That's all too, right? We're doing this and we're doing this. That's it. Let's figure out how to make it happen. So the question doesn't become, do I do this? Or you're teaching them to settle. Do you want your kids to settle in life? No, they want to aim for the highest job, the most money, the most salary. Let's not teach them to compromise super early in their life, right? We want to have the best paying job that makes them super happy and makes them super secure. Let's aim super high with that. So it's never an or, it's an and question, right? So boom, that's the answer there. Now going back. So when you go back to this list, you'll see that certain classes have the honors. If he does, you +1 them. If he doesn't, you don't +1 them, right? As well too. And here's the key. Look at that. Math 3 honors. Math 3 honors has the word honors. Your high school may give you honors credit on the high school transcript. But when it comes to the UC GPA, they wouldn't count that honors as an honor. So that's the one thing to keep in mind, right? But like this one though, this pre-calc honors does count. So keep that in mind. That's the one thing you want to take a look at if you want to look at it. My biggest recommendation when it comes to GPA, don't waste your time. If you want to calculate it on your own, we do have a tracker. I might give it away at the end of today if you guys are interested. If you want to do some math, if you want to practice your math skills, your arithmetic, go for it. Make yourself happy and do some quick math. You're bored, right? But again, I think you'd rather prefer a 20-minute nap than a 20-minute math problem, right? Agree? So again, that's the biggest thing. It's not worth calculating this. The biggest thing, let's focus on making sure the rigor is super high. Let's making sure the grade trends is the key. Let's keep our grades strong as much as we can for our students there, okay? Biggest thing, let's go back. I talked about requirements. Boom. I talked about GPA. Boom. Let's talk about major preparation. By the way, I'm going a little over. Is it okay if I stick around a little longer? I usually end this in 30 minutes, but I'm going to go a little over. Is that cool with you guys? Yes. If I can go a little over to finish up the major prep and making your life easier as well. We'll try our best. Yes is in the chat. Little thumbs ups. Coach, are we proud? Coach Art loves his thumbs up. I like the chats as well too. You guys want to spam the comments as well. Spam the comments. I love to spam the comments as well too. Right. Talk about major preparation, right? Let's say, or not say, earlier today, you guys talked about a bunch of majors for me, right? So majors, realistically, right? We've been doing this for 16 years now, helping families get into all the UCs, all the private schools. Our kids last year gone to Caltech, the Ivies, MIT, all these schools, right? So how do we do it so successfully, right? The biggest thing is there's things that we know readers look for. The biggest thing is called overlays, right? So what overlays are academics and activities that you should make sure you have when it comes to your major. Again, like a teaser, one of the awesome pairs asked this. We're not going to do activities today, but teaser, spoilers next week. If you guys tune back again next week, 6 o'clock Tuesday, I'll be back. I'll be teaching you guys about activities. But today, there's academic overlays for the various majors, right? But if you guys know, there's a lot of majors. It's like over hundreds of majors. If you add up all the schools together, every cross-section of majors, hundreds of majors. There's no way we can humanly know all those majors. That's why we realize it doesn't matter too much to know every single major. We need to know 3 main pathways, right? So there's 3 main pathways out there that we've learned. Wherever you fall in that list, this is going to be the key for you, right? So there's 3 main pathways. Pathway number 1 is going to be computer science and engineering, right? Anyone, drop a 1 in the chat if this is you. Drop the 1 if this is your child, or if you're the child, you, right? Are you either computer science, data science, engineering, mechanical, aerospace, electrical, civil, all the sciences, all the engineers, all the engineers, right? Boom. That is number 1, right? So all of you are grouped together because the preparation, the overlays are the same for you all, right? The second batch of people is my STEM students, right? My STEM students, and let me put a plus. I think plus is better than slash, right? So if you are bio, health sciences, chemistry, physics, math, business, right? Those of you interested in business as well too. You are also, drop a 2 in the chat. Drop a 2 in the chat if you are one of these students, right? A STEM, future doctor, future researcher, the sciences, math, if you're into math, as well too. Boom, we got our STEMmies and businesses, right? Number three, I can't think of a better name, by the way. If anyone has a better name for it, let me know. Everyone else as well too. We have put everyone else in the third bucket because that's literally there's nothing really different between all the even though it's the most diverse. It's the I want to be a history major, Asian studies, writing, journalism, all these different ones in theory, they can be grouped all together. Okay. So these are the three major pathways that we have out there, right? So the preparation for each one. If you are, and by the way, the order matters too. The order goes from most competitive to least competitive. So when it comes to deciding what major should I apply for and think about, this is the order of like if you're aiming for the tops, and then so let's say so here's where that example is, right? What if I'm torn between CS or business, right? Very, very common difference, right? What do I do? Right? Because again, do I follow pathway one? Do I follow pathway two? What you want to do is you according to this again, this is like our methodology, right? Right? Follow the higher one, the bigger ones. So in this case, CS or business, right? For this student, right? Plan for the CS overlay because you'll see that the CS overlay has a lot more things in it. But everything that we tell our CS kids to do, part of it is the STEM and business kids. Part of that is going to be the everyone else. So you're basically just enveloping everyone in big one. So if you're aiming for CS and engineering, there's the most overlays to figure out. Then STEM is less, not less, but like less than the CS engineering, still more than everyone else. Everyone else is still the core for everyone, right? That's the thing there. So let's talk about first computer science. If you are interested in computer science engineering, the two main overlays you got to make sure you have is strong math and strong physical sciences, right? What does strong math mean? Strong math means, and then this is speaking today's world, right? Today's world, because strong math is very different for who you ask. Strong math means, right? You are done. I'm gonna caveat real fast before I say this stuff because people was like, "Oh my God, it's too late for my child." There's always ways to hit everything. Just keep that in mind, and keep in mind you don't have this. I highly recommend it. Because I know we have some seniors here. I'm not gonna like, oh no, we're not on track, blah blah. No. Keep in mind, academics is the least important factor of the entire admissions process. Your essays, your PIQs are way more important, which is more important than your activities, which are more important than your academics, right? So we're starting with the least important factor to talk about. But right, if you have the time, you have the luxury, 9th, 10th graders, by the way, if you have the luxury to kind of predict and plan for this, what you would want to do ideally, right? Ideally finish calculus BC as a junior in high school or earlier. Holy moly, Coach Tony, is that the end of the math sequence? At the high school level, it is. But then what you want to do is go to a local community college and take calculus 3 because high schools don't offer that. You can take linear algebra because high schools don't offer that, and differential equations because high schools don't offer that. Heads up, how are we able to do this? CC classes are half a year. Calculus 3 in summer, linear algebra in fall, differential in spring. Boom. And in college, one semester is the same as a full year in high school, right? So you basically added 3 years of math in addition to everyone else, right? So again, keep in mind that, right? That's the big thing here. Physical science is physics. There's multiple physics out there. If your school doesn't offer it, we like to recommend not community college for physics, right? But like online high schools like the BYU, UC Scout, just to add on, because a lot of schools don't offer too many AP physics options, right? So you can look into this for here, right? So that is the overlay for computer science and engineering. That's it. Again, still do well. Everything else, again, it's gonna envelope, right? So everything's gonna envelope each other as well too. Number two, right? Let me see. Let's actually write the word uber strong math, right? Because in number two, we still want strong math as well too, and then strong biological sciences, right? So this is your bio, your chem, right? As well too. Strong math means ideally you want to get to BC if possible, right? If possible, go to Calc 3, right? Calc 3 for law students is overkill. However, keeping in mind you're being compared against your peers, against your state, and this and that. A lot of our students, wink, wink, they're doing this already. So again, that's who your competitors are. So definitely, I recommend, again, if possible, right? You want to get to BC, if not, do more as well too. Because again, it doesn't get easier in college. People always like, oh no, why are you pushing us so hard? I'm like, either we push you or the college kicks them out. I don't want the college to kick them out, is the thing, right? So hey, let's make sure they are ready to go there, is the thing. Number 3, strong APs, IBs. That's it, right? It's a little easier for the everyone else folks as well too. You want to max out, right? Basically, you're gonna max out all the opportunities you can relative to your high school, because some high schools don't offer a lot, right? So whatever your school does offer, you want to max out what those pieces are. Okay, so that is the overlay for the majors, the various majors. Again, if you're in the subsection, all the data science, computer science, engineers, all the engineer like breakdowns, right? You got to focus on this. This is what you got to do, because they're all the same as well too, right? That's the key here, right? Last we finished major prep. Last one, I have like 10-ish minutes left. Would you guys rather see make your life student easier or me do Q&A? I probably can't do both, so we can get one or the other. Which one you gonna put? One, if you guys want what's a trick to make your life easier. Number 2, we can do Q&A. Let me know in the chat, 1 or 2, if you got what do you guys like better, 1 or 2. 1 or 2. Wow, we got 250 students. Thank you everyone as well too. Awesome. All right. Looks like one destroyed too. It was like a overwhelmingly one. So here's what we're gonna do. We'll talk that. Here's what I'll do though. If you guys want to go ahead and drop your questions in Q&A, I might do a surprise live tomorrow or Thursday, probably tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe who knows, right? I might do a surprise live in our Facebook group, UC Admission Secrets, if you haven't joined there yet. And I'm going to answer your questions. So if you guys want to drop the Q&A questions there, I might have a special guest with me too. Who knows, right? I want to do a live Q. I might go live, no promises. Might go live. I might just run through all the Q&A questions that you guys had today. So go ahead and drop the Q&A questions, guys. I still want to get you guys the answers to them, right? Again, I'm not going to say what time because I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. So the heads up, as well too. All right, let's talk about it. How do you make our students' life easier as well too, right? Let's talk about it. Because again, right, I'm all about working smart, right? We're all about, right? Here at College Admission Secrets, we aim to work smart. That's the big key for us, right? Again, can you do everything? Yes. I know I talked to some families this past week and they're like, Coach Tony, we're gonna take the SATs. I'm like, why? Because they're like, oh, because all my friends are taking the SATs. I was like, okay, what schools are you applying to? They're like, I'm applying to the UCs. I'm like, the UCs are still test blind, right? So again, in that case, it doesn't even help you at all to take any score and get a perfect score, least score, doesn't matter at all, right? So I think it depends on where you want to go and then working backwards, right? How do we get there, right? In terms of where do you want to go? How do we get there is the biggest thing itself, right? Apologies, man. I've had this lung thing for like 2 or 3 weeks now. Hopefully it goes away soon. It's not the cough, you never know when it goes away. It just goes away randomly one day, right? Here we're going to work smart. So how do we make our lives here? Because again, keep in mind, again, there's 3 factors: academics, activities, and the application itself. These are the 3 main components of everyone's application, right? They're not equal. Most people tend to focus it like this, right? They spend the most amount of time in school because Coach Tony, my child's up till 2 in the morning studying for the class. I have so much homework to study at 2 in the morning, right? And I'm like, ooh, that's not a good sign, because that should be, ideally, right? Activities, applicate. That is the ratio that we want. We want to spend the most amount of time as a freshman, sophomore, junior, focusing on our activities, which I'm going to talk about next week. For those who want to join me again next week, we're going to go live and talk about that there. However, right, the academics, right, should be the least important. Least important means you want to spend the least amount of time, amount of time. Doesn't mean don't do good or don't do well, right? You'll spend the least amount of time on that area, so you can spend more time on the other factors as well, too, right? That's the key here. So how do we make that work? Because again, listen to this, like, holy moly, it's a lot of work, Coach Tony. It's a lot of like things, right? A lot of things that I'm doing here, right? So let me demystify something for you. I kind of responded, by the way. For those who have been paying attention, those who know our strategy, I kind of already gave away the answer, right? I already gave away the answer already earlier in the call itself, right? So ideally, one of the tricks that we do, one of the big things, again, this is why I think I'm the most hated in California for this specific thing, right? A concept called dual enrollment, right? Again, a lot of people talk about the AP courses and the IB courses as well too, right? Which is a great AP courses, IB courses. They're designed to be really, really hard, right? To prep you to get ready for the rigor of college. You have to take a test at the end of the year. AP exams out of 5, IBs out of 7, right? You got to get a high enough score to get the college credit for the class. That's kind of how these classes are structured. However, for those who know, there's a third type of honors course that does count, by the way, for UC honors, right? It does count for UC honors and it's called dual enrollment. The idea behind dual enrollment is as a high school student, you can take college courses, right? As well, too. Your school doesn't have to actively give it. Like your school, because some people are like, oh, my school doesn't offer that. Like, no. You can do it right, as well, too, right? So keeping that in mind, like in theory, all students, in theory, right? All high school students can take advantage of this, right? So essentially what you do is you take a college level course. You guys probably know what your local community college is next by to your class. You don't have to go far, right? But the class next to your community college next to where you guys live as well, right? So that's the big thing here, okay? So what you want to do, so if you are going to do this, right? If you are going to do this, a few notes I recommend. Number one, right? Avoid taking non-transferable courses. What does that mean? A lot of people here, for example, are CS. I don't do computer science. I'm taking computer science at the college, Coach Tony. I'm like, oh, okay. And then people like, oh, Coach Tony, I'm interested in business. I'm taking business classes at the community college. I'm like, oh, okay, right? Not saying they're bad. Not saying they're bad at all, right? And I'm sure you're enjoying. I'm sure you like it. I'm sure it's activating your interest in that field more. However, if you look these classes up, most of these classes are not transferable at all to any school, right? It might say like UC transfer. I'm like, no, does it really transfer? Or does the credits transfer? The credits are different than the class, right? You can get the 4 units, but what does that mean if you don't get the credit for the class? You have to end up taking class again anyways, right? So a lot of these classes you can't really do at the undergraduate, at the high school, at the community college level, right? Can you do it? You can. However, typically, right, you can probably learn this this stuff online online for free, right? YouTube, Coursera, EDX, right? You can learn this stuff by yourself or hands-on, hands-on learning, right? Go read a book, learn a thing, go work at a business, you learn business. So it's one the thing is you can learn a lot of stuff already. So if you are gonna do dual enrollment, make sure the class is transferable. That can't spell. Transferable. That is going to be the key. So how do we do that, right? So again, every state has their own kind of acronym for it. If you're in California, right, where our acronym is called the IGETC, the Intersegmental General Education Transfer Curriculum. This is a list of classes. There's typically 7 areas, right, that you can take that all the classes are transferable. How is it transferable? This is the list of classes that community college students take to transfer to a 4-year. You're doing exactly what a community college would do. However, when you apply, you're applying as a freshman. That's the little trick there, right? So if you are going to do this, what I recommendation, I would start with your social behavioral sciences and also start with arts and humanities classes, right? Again, if I mentioned these words because if you're from another state, You have your own version of this. Every state does. And look for this. It might not be called whatever we're going to call it, but is that. In California, however, it's called Area 3, Area 4. So Area 3, Area 4 classes. Let's do a quick little live example. Can someone drop a community college next to your house in the chat? Can someone drop a community college next to your house in the chat? All right. Aloni. Sorry, that was the first one. That was the first one. Oh, you guys type too fast. Aloni community college, right? So what I would do, type in the college, type I get see. Once you type the school, type I get see, it usually should pop up right away. Boom. This is the list for the I get see requirements, right? You can see there's area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's probably a new one coming soon. Some schools have it, some schools don't. Area 7, ethnic studies, right? But area 3, area 4, any of these classes, right? Any of these classes is the ones I recommend you take. Here's the reason why, right? Number one, right? A lot of high schools are starting to, again, get mad at Coach Tony for recommending this. And number two, they were telling you can't take these classes if the high school offers it. World history, high school offers that. US history, high school offers that. Math, high school offers that. So in theory, we can't do those classes. However, right, I bet you most schools don't have anthropology. I bet you most schools don't have sociology as well too, right? So what you can do is take classes that your school doesn't offer, right? So for example, I like sociology. I tell people all the time, if I was to go back to school, I'd be a sociology major for sure, right? So sociology, and you look these classes up and you take them. The beauty of the class is college classes are 1 semester, half a year, right? Once you pass the class, meaning you get an A, B, or C in the class, you're guaranteed college credits versus AP, where you have to take the whole year. It's a really hard class. Take the AP exam, get a high enough score. Because again, 3 out of 5 is passing, but not every school is going to get you that. Again, if you're interested, type of school, type of AP validation, right? You'll probably see it right away. Here, look, this school, Berkeley, right? Berkeley, 3 is good, 3 is good, 3 is good. I'm trying to look for example where it's not good. Here, right? Math. If you took Calc BC and you got a score of 3 or 4, it only gave you credit for 1 class. You have to get a score of 5 to get credit for 2 classes as well too. So again, 1B is Calc 2, which is what the class is. So essentially, if you didn't get a 5, you didn't actually fulfill the class. You have to retake essentially BC again at the college level, right? So again, that's what it means. You have to get a high enough score versus, right? If you take it at the community colleges 1 semester, fall, spring, or summer, right? Once you're done with the class, you're guaranteed the college AP units right away without taking any AP exams. To make it even more interesting, I mentioned it's a really hard class. You guys know why it's a really hard class, right? Not because the class is hard. Yes, it is hard, but it's because the teacher is hard. Anyone agree? And again, amen. The teacher is hard. That is why the class is hard. When it comes, and in high school, you had no choice, right? One teacher teaches that one class. When you are in college, right? Again, Ohlone, I'll take Sociology 101. So Ohlone class schedule. Hopefully I can still see my screen. I'm going to a different screen right now. So I'm looking up Ohlone schedule right now. Let's say I want to take fall. I want to take Sociology 101, right? As well too. It's a bunch of classes. Look at that. There's online courses. To add on the list, you can take this online. Your child doesn't actually have to go to the school too. They can take it online, self-paced, right? As well too, asynchronous. And look at that. There's 2 different teachers teaching this class. I wonder. What I'm going to recommend is a site called ratesmyprofessors.com. Why do we go here? We go here, we type in, I go to Ohlone. Oops, ads. Ohlone College, Ohlone in Fremont. There we go, that one. And what's the teacher's name? The teacher's name is Jennifer Jovel, right? Jennifer. Jovel, she teaches history? I think so, right? Oh, no responses. Let's see the other Jennifer, education. Nope, no responses. Uh-oh, I am going to take a wild guess on them, right? Let's do the other teacher, Mark Bauermaster. Let's see. Mark Bauermaster, 3.7. Sociology has a lot of five-star reviews, right? But also some not so great one. You can read the reviews. Ooh, very strict. Very strict as well too. So again, I will probably avoid taking this class because again, it sounds like not the easiest class of all too. Again, also people who got bad grades is that, but I'm hearing that from a few people. So probably not the recommendation you do there, right? But that's how you can kind of gamify the experience a little bit. Let's find us a class that's transferable. Let's find a teacher that is good because our goal here is what? Again, going back, what is the main key of academics, y'all? Rigor. Every dual enrollment class you take in addition to your current schedule is rigor. Doesn't mean you have to fully add on. You can take one AP to add a semester, and that counts as 1-to-1. It's a 1-to-1 ratio there as well too. So boom. Again, for those who are interested, the reason why I'm doing this training right now, maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, the spring semester is going to come out. So if anyone wants to take advantage of this opportunity, you can actually have your child start on spring classes halfway through the year at a local community college. All right. How was that? You guys like it? Drop a yes in the chat. That was good. That was good information for you guys as well too. All right. So before we head off, I have one free gift for you guys. If you guys are interested in my notes, I've been seeing people like notes, notes, notes as well too. Sorry, coughing like crazy right now. Oops, oops, oops. My computer froze. Computer froze. All right. All right. If you guys are interested in our notes, here's again, you guys know the drill. We have a really awesome team to send out all our fun goodies for today. If you guys want to go ahead and text, don't send them that chat, text our team. A few, I'll send in the chat. You guys can go ahead and have that chat as well too. The number, just type notes and our team will know what to do. They'll send you the Google Doc as well too. Once something we're doing for anyone who's not in our coaching program yet, you guys are interested, just want to see where you guys are at, quick little assessment to see where you guys are at as well too. We're offering free coaching calls this week. Just type coach me as well too. We'll set you guys up with a quick little, again, not sales call. You can't buy anything on that call either as well. But if you're not one of our coaching families yet, and you're just interested in like see when you get coaching families, you guys have our Discord, you have your calls, go use that as well too. But for anyone who has not in our program, you want to check, hey, where's my child at? What should they be doing next? They'll recommend a few steps. Again, can't buy anything. You can leave your credit cards at home. Notes, coach me. And last thing, this Saturday to Saturday, Coach Art and myself are doing a special 4-hour masterclass on the perfect high school roadmap from 9th grade to 12th grade. If you guys are interested in that free event as well too, text the word roadmap. Their team can go ahead and grab you that link as well too. So one more time, don't text it in Zoom because I'm going to close it off. But if you want to go ahead and start a little text message, go on your phone, send a text message to our team. I'm seeing come in already. You guys are fast. You guys are fast. All right. Type to our notes. I'll send you my Google Docs and then coach me if you get one of our new families. Again, we'll go ahead and again, hook you up with a free 15-minute coaching call with our team and then a roadmap if you guys want to join us this Saturday for our 4-hour session itself. Okay. I'm going to close up the room. I do have another call to bounce off. So again, if you write down somewhere, text this down somewhere so you guys have that. I saw someone try to call me as well. Definitely don't call me as well. But go ahead and text. Again, don't write on Zoom. Text message, right? Notes, coach me, roadmap. All right. That is it. It's a pleasure. Our team will have the replay out in a few days. I'll make a post in the UC group. Just comment if you guys want it. Our team will grab it for you guys very soon. Appreciate, again, we have a lot of people, over 260 people joined tonight. Appreciate you all. Let me copy over the Q&A before I forget, because I'm going to try to answer all your questions this perhaps tomorrow. No promises as well. But yeah, so let me go ahead and Do that. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys soon. Bye, everyone.